All right, good afternoon, everybody. Today we're going to be learning about two-step equations. So let's get started. Number 17. If I go to number 17, I see 6m plus 1 equals a negative 23. Well, the first thing I have to do is remember I'm going to deal with m last. My variable I deal with last. So I got to deal with my number first. As I do with one-step equations, to get rid of positive 1, I'll introduce it to negative 1. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other, which gives me negative 22. Oop, my apologies, negative 24. What was I thinking? Now, negative 1 cancels out positive 1, so I'm left with 6m. And now we're stuck with the one-step equation. 6m equals negative 24. I divide 6 from 6m because I'm multiplying 6 to m, which means I have to divide 6 out to get rid of it. Whatever I divide from one side, though, I have to divide from the other. And now m is left alone. That leaves me with negative 4. And that's my answer. Let's move on to number 19. Doing the same steps, I have to deal with my variable last, so I'll deal with my number first. Opposite of positive 3 is negative 3. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side of my equal sign. Now negative 25 and negative 3 make a negative 28. And now I have negative 7y is equal to negative 28. Well, I have to divide negative 7y to negative 7 to get rid of the negative 7, leaving me y by itself. But whatever I do to one side, I have to do the other. So negative 28 divided by negative 7 will give me a positive number, because a negative divided by a negative is positive. That goes into that 4 times. Now it's as good a time as any to go ahead and give you the code word for today. The code word for today will be, here we go. Teak, wood, furniture. All right, I'm going to go ahead and erase that now so we don't have it for those that just want to sneak through the video. But those who write it will get a treat from me. Let's go to number 21 now. Again, we deal with the variable last, so we're going to deal with the number first. But this is a negative, remember this is a negative b we're going to have, but we'll have to divide out a negative 1/2 later. Let's start with 15 first. First we'll have to subtract 15 from this side to get rid of it, which means we'll subtract 15 from this side to get rid of it. This leaves me with a negative 18 is equal to a negative 1/2 b. Now I have to divide out negative 1/2 from this side. But as we know, when I'm dividing a fraction by a fraction, what's really happening is I have to use my KFC method, or KCF for those who learned it earlier a different way, which means I keep my top number the same and I'm going to flip my bottom number, which means I'm really going to multiply my number by a negative 2/1. Right? I'm keeping my top number the same, I'm flipping my bottom number upside down, and I am changing from division to multiplication. But whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Now this, of course, cancels these twos out because they became 1, so I have 1b left over. And a negative 18 multiplied to negative 2, because remember this is negative 18 over 1, the bottom number will just be 1, and then the number over itself will equal the number on top. Negative 18 times a negative 2 will give me a positive, right? A positive 36. We're off to our last one, number 23. The perimeter of a rectangle is 48 centimeters. Okay. That means all the way around the rectangle is 48 centimeters. All the way around, if I was to add them together, that would equal 48. It says the length is 16 centimeters. Well, that means this top part here, the length, 16 centimeters, which means the bottom is 16 centimeters. And they want us to find the width. Draw a bar diagram that represents the situation. Let's see, if I was to go ahead and do this, I'd have to realize that 48 is on one side, because all of it has to equal 48. And over here we'd have 16. Let's see, times 2, really. So I could say 16 plus 16. Right, but if we put them together, it's really going to be 32. And then whatever these sides here, I don't know what they are, but I do know there's 2 of them. And I can represent that as plus 2w, because it'd be 2 w's. Now I have my equation, my two-step equation. 48 is going to equal 32 plus 2w. Well, once again, I have to do the number first because the variable comes last. I have to subtract 32 from this side, which means I subtract 32 from this side. Now I have 2w left. 48 minus 32 is going to give me 16. Now I have to divide 2 from 2w, which means I divide 2 from the other side. And I have 8. And there you got it. The width has to be 8. Write and solve an equation that represents a situation. The equation was 48 equals 32 plus 2w. And it said solve, so solving it would be 8 equals w. Lastly, it says, how does solving the equation arithmetically compare to solving the equation algebraically? And to be honest with you, I'm not going to require you to answer that. Really, we're talking about numbers here and combining, what is this they wanted, a bar diagram to represent the situation. You're talking one is just going to be adding and subtract, the other one we're really going to be doing an equation for. So I'm just going to say, see, you would subtract first and then divide. Using both. All right, and that's it for tonight. I will see you on class. Have a